Hello everyone, I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for the weekend of May 10th, 11th, and 12th. On today's show, we'll tell you about a travel scam that may be sitting in your mailbox right now, and what to do about it. But first, some reminders about important events this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Friday, the Apple Group meets to discuss how simple settings on your iPhone, iPad, or MacBook can make your computing experience easier and better. Whether you have a computer or not, you are all welcome to the Apple Group, meeting Friday at 1:30 p.m. in the Oak Room at the Woodlands. Then Saturday morning, you can hear from special guest Bob Southern, Director of Project Development. He's got some big projects coming down the pike, including the new Aquatic Center and the new Shell Point neighborhood, the Estuary. Come hear all the details behind the planning of these two mega projects. Bob Southern speaks to the Information Forum this Saturday at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room, and all are welcome. And this Sunday is Mother's Day, so the Crystal Room is offering a special buffet brunch to celebrate. Enjoy breakfast items like Eggs Benedict, custom omelets, and cheese blintzes, or choose a hot entree like prime rib, roast turkey, or prosciutto pork loin, with all the vegetables and side items you like. End your Mother's Day meal with a fresh berry shortcake and a free flower for every mother in attendance. The Crystal Room's Mother's Day buffet costs just $23.95 and is open this Sunday from 10:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. The Palm Grill at the Woodlands will also celebrate by offering a special Sunday meal, including shrimp cocktail, filet mignon, snapper piccata, or lamb chops. Throw in a Mayflower salad and a creative homemade dessert, and this will be a Mother's Day meal to remember. The Palm Grill will be open this Sunday from 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., and you can get more information by calling them at 454-2059. Now we'd like to draw your attention to a travel scam that might already be sitting in your mailbox. A Shell Point resident recently received this in the mail. As you can see, it says travel check voucher enclosed, and it also says final notice. So this makes you think that there's some sort of deadline and you need to act fast. Now, opening it up, you see that it actually looks like a check for $1,350. It sure looks like a check. It's got a bunch of official-looking numbers on it, and on the back it even has a place for you to sign the check. But if you read the notice attached, it doesn't mention cashing this check or doing anything with it. In fact, it tells you that you've won 2 round-trip airline tickets anywhere in the U.S., and you need to call this number by a certain date in order to claim your prize. Folks, this is a scam. First of all, it looks official, but all the names and numbers on it are just pretend. There's no such company as U.S. Airlines. Second, it mentions that you're either entitled to this travel voucher, but it doesn't mention any specific contest or lottery that you've entered, so you know they're just making stuff up. Now, third, it mentions a deadline, saying they've attempted to contact you on several occasions, and this is your last chance, pressuring you into taking action now, or someone else may claim your prize. Pressure tactics often force people into bad decisions, so be smart about this. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And if it mentions a vague prize or sweepstakes that you never entered, then they are just trying to get you to call so they can steal your money. Here's what to do. Crumple it up and throw it away. If you have any questions or uncertainty, there are always people at Shell Point that can help, including the Legacy Foundation, Finemark Bank, and even the Shell Point Call Center at 454-2190. If you make informed decisions, then you won't get taken in by scams like this. So now that we've rescued our money from scam artists, let's see how we can celebrate by attending one of the many resort services events this weekend. Then after your Academy News and Menus and Village Church Connections, stay tuned for your Shell Point TV Week in Review.
Welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Suzanne Zavada, and I'm here with Dev Chanley for the weekend edition to go over everything happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll start off on Friday morning at 8 o'clock with pickleball being played out at the pickleball court on the island. At 8:15, the Stamp Ministry will be meeting in the stamp room on the island, and volunteers are welcome. From 8:30 to 11:30, the marketplace will be in the administration courtyard. At 9 o'clock, the men's match play tennis group will be out at the courts at the Woodlands. At 10 o'clock, we'll have canasta in the game room, we'll have the genealogy group meeting in the stable room, and we'll have the Veterans Club meeting in the Grand Cypress room, all at the Woodlands. At 10:15, Inquiring Minds will be meeting in the Osprey room on the island. At 12:30, Mixed Progressive Bridge will take place in the game room at the Woodlands. At 1:15, we have table tennis in the Tarpon room, or we have the Quilters meeting in the Osprey room. At 1:30, golf croquet will be played out on the bocce courts at the Woodlands. Also at 1:30, we have the Vespers in the community room of the Arbor, and we have the Apple group in the Oak room of the Woodlands. At 2 o'clock, euchre will be played in the Sable room of the Woodlands. At 2:45, the Vespers will meet again in the community room of King's Crown, and will end Friday at 6:45 with game night in the Resident Activity Center on the island. Here's Bev to go over Saturday.
Saturday's going to start out bright and early at 8 o'clock with round robin men's doubles tennis down at the tennis courts. Then 9:45, we'll have a duplicate bridge game going on. That'll be in the Manatee room. At 10 o'clock, we have golf croquet. That's held at the bocce court down at the Woodlands. Also at 10 o'clock, we have the information forum. They'll be gathering in the Grand Cypress room at the Woodlands. Now at 10:15, those model yachts will be sailing at the Woodlands Common Lake. Then we jump to the afternoon with a 1 o'clock chess game. That'll be held in the Library Lounge at the Resident Activity Center. And then 1:15, our table tennis will be active down in the tunnel, and that's available all weekend in the Tarpon room. At 2 o'clock, we have the Saturday DVD, The Life of Pi. That's a 2012 film. That'll be in the Grand Cypress room down at the Woodlands. Then we have 3:15, basic line dancing in the Health Club. We jump to the early evening at 6:30, where duplicate bridge will be held down in the Manatee room. And at 7 o'clock, we have a second showing of the Saturday DVD, Life of Pi, in the Grand Cypress room. That concludes Saturday. Now here's Suzanne with the Sunday lineup for you.
Sunday morning, the Christian Life Studies group will meet at 9 o'clock in the game room at the Woodlands, and at 9:15 at the Village Church on the island. At 10:15, there'll be morning worship with Andy Hawkins in the Village Church, and it'll also be broadcast live on Shell Point TV Channel 12. At 2 o'clock, the Mixed Golf League will be out at the Shell Point Golf Club, and we'll end Sunday at 6:15 with the evening service in the Village Church on the island. We certainly hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.
Hi, I'm Terry Koleth, and I'd like to tell you what's coming in your academy next week. On Monday, we welcome back Christy Anders, Education Director of the Sanibel Captiva Conservation Foundation, to talk about fish, no bones about it. And then on Tuesday, Professor Kerr will round out his session on the history of Egypt. On Thursday, Penny Modridge of Nautilus and Bruce Findlay of Sundial will present e-reader on the iPad.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is broiled salmon with wild rice pilaf and spinach. The dinner special is the seafood buffet for $14.95, and the soup is New England clam chowder. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Friday, enjoy a turkey Reuben with fries for $6.95. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are calf liver for $14.95 or a grilled pork chop for $14.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, enjoy a Philly cheesesteak with chips for $6.95. The dinner special is stuffed peppers with grilled polenta and sautéed broccoli for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Saturday are prime rib for $18.95 or shrimp thermidor for $14.95. And on Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Mother's Day brunch for $23.95. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Sunday, enjoy a ham, egg, and cheese croissant with fresh fruit for $6.95. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $7.95. And the Palm Grill is closed on Sunday. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Randy Woods, and I'm here with Pastor Andy as we anticipate the weekend. Here it is already, the second Sunday of May.
Mother's Day. It is Mother's Day. That's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I look forward to sharing our celebration and worship. And you're going to be continuing our series in the study of the book of Ephesians.
That's certainly true. Obviously, we're going to make a mention of Mother's Day and the significance that it is for not only our church family, but certainly how important it is as an institution in our nature, in our society, in our culture. But we are going to continue in the series on Ephesians, and we're actually moving in to the second half of the book. It's taken us a while to get there, but this is the section that starts to apply the wonderful theology that we've already seen in the first half of the book of Ephesians.
And this week, my wife, Karen, and Liz Jarrett are going to be accompanying the choir with one piano, four hands, and special accompaniment. They'll also do a solo piece as part of the service.
Now, Liz has to be the youngest mother in the congregation.
Oh, without a doubt. And that little princess of a daughter of hers.
Yeah, Savannah.
Yes,
that's right.
Savannah Marie.
So it's very appropriate that she participate in that way. That's wonderful. Yeah.
And then Sunday night, you're continuing our study in the book of Revelation. Is that correct?
Right.
These last words of Christ.
That's correct.
And then your daughter, I understand, may be visiting and will share in the ministry of song.
That's
Kate.
The plan. That's exactly right.
Kate is from Philadelphia?
That's correct. She has been the last few years.
Okay, she moves around, but she's a delightful young lady and very talented. As a singer, I've known her for years. Join us Sunday morning for our worship service at 10:15 at the Village Church. And if you're not able to be there in person, we welcome you to tune in to ShellPoint TV, Channel 12 for the live broadcast. And then our service Sunday night at 6:15. It's going to be a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. We look forward to the music, the ministry, and most of all, the study of God's Word as Pastor Andy continues. So join us this Sunday at the Village Church.
It's time to replay some of the week's best stories from ShellPoint TV, and we began at the pool, where people are using aquatic exercises to recover faster.
I'm Mary Franklin from Resort Services, and here today at the pool to talk about the new aquatic center that will be built here at Shell Point at this location. A few months ago, Dawn Bourne and I met with a group of individuals to talk about what we need here at our new pool. And one of those meetings consisted of Jeff and CJ from our therapy department, and they shared with us the benefits and what special aspects our new pool should have. So thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff, what does water therapy mean to you in your everyday job?
We've had several residents who had knee replacements, difficulty getting the range of motion that they needed on land. With the therapeutic temperature and the water, we're able to do different exercises that we were unable to do on land. It gives us a bigger toolbox to work with so we can get to the level where the residents need to be, their prior level of function. We're also able to teach them the exercises in the pool, which they can take to another pool to maintain their level of function.
Right. And I would imagine that it gives your client the confidence, because when you're on land, if you fall, it's hard.
Right. And we do have 2 treadmills in our pool, so we're actually able to do some gait training in the pool where, like you said, the buoyancy of the water, when you're walking on a treadmill, if you do lose your balance, you just kind of float away, and then we can just get you right back up on. So it builds a lot of confidence as far as that's concerned. We've seen a lot of residents who can't do the things on land. We work with them in the pool. They're able to get their strength, their confidence back up, and it translates to things on land.
And CJ, you've actually had some examples that you have been working with someone for a long period of time and then transitioned over to the pool, taught their caregiver and so forth. What is that experience like for the patient?
It really allows them to gain back some semblance of their life. We go from working in the pool in the therapy department, where we have a little bit of a controlled environment with a small setting, a lot of equipment, building up their strength, working on their gait training, working on their balance, and then we're able to work with a caregiver or themselves out in the pools in the community. We have several pools out here in the community, and we're able to allow them to continue with the program that they've learned in the therapy department.
Okay. And one of the big topics we talked about a few months ago that was important was the access into the pool. And the new pool will have, the bigger pool will have a 0 entry, and then the therapy specific pool will have a ramp entry. What does that mean to you?
There's a lot of residents that have such great pain they could benefit from using the pool, but it hurts too much to get up and down the steps. If there's a zero entry or the ramp, people that are unable to walk up and down the steps will be able to access the pool and will be able to start doing their program in the pool. That's one of the things that we don't have now that we're looking forward to having in the future.
Another aspect will be we'll have a wheelchair that actually will be able to roll right down those accesses. So there's no more getting into a chair that lifts you over the water.
Right, absolutely. Some people are afraid to use those lifts. This allows them to just sit in the type of chair that wheels right in very easily, and then they can just float or walk right over to where they're going to exercise.
Right. And Jeff, you touched on it a little bit, but can you explain the temperature of the pool? We're going to keep the circular therapy pool a little bit warmer. And what does that mean?
Sure. We keep our pool temperature between 88 and 90 degrees. It's recommended by the Arthritis Foundation. It's a very therapeutic temperature. Anything higher could tax your heart when you're doing exercise in the pool. So that's the optimal temperatures that we keep our pools at.
Okay. And it loosens up the muscles a little bit and you aren't tense. If it's cold, you tense up, right? So CJ, can you tell us one of those wonderful success stories?
Well, one of them that's near and dear to my heart is Clara Zathmary. She was someone who came with a severe injury and was extremely weak, having difficulty doing her exercises on land, having a lot of barriers to gaining enough strength to stay mobile and continue to live at her home. So we got her in the pool, we got her stronger, we started working with a caregiver, and we started actually practicing out in the community pool, and she continues to this day doing her exercises in the pool with her caregiver every day, and it's actually allowed her to start maneuvering on land, walking with a walker a few steps, which she wasn't able to do prior to the water therapy.
It's just wonderful because it gives me steadiness for my body.
Yes.
And I can do all my exercises, which I do every day. And I'm in there for 1 hour, not rest, no rest, just working alone.
Yes.
And normally you couldn't do that on land, right?
I'm doing walking.
Walking now on land because of the pool.
Yeah. Just imagine that you are weightless and you are in the water. So it's much easier to do, like you were on the moon.
So the exercise we taught you over in the pavilion and the pool, you do them over here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And more.
And more? Okay.
Her determination, her practice is what has really brought her to where she is now. She was extremely, extremely weak. Just basic mobility was really difficult for her. And so I'm absolutely thrilled to see how she's been keeping it up because it gives her back her life.
And if you've met Clara, you know she's a very determined woman.
Absolutely.
But you can tell that this pool brings a smile to her face, so it's helping her physically and mentally as well.
Physically, emotionally, she loves to come out and feel free. She loves to socialize. She has a very dedicated caregiver who helps every day in doing the exercises, and we're thrilled that they've been able to keep it up in the community pool.
Right. We're so excited. There's so many different aspects to this pool. There's the social aspect, there's the just come out and exercise with the fitness girls. But this is just one more positive aspect that we're looking forward to at the new Aquatic Center coming to Shell Point.
Last week, the Iona-McGregor Fire District tested a new ladder truck right here at Shell Point. Let's take a look.
What we have going on here today is from training with the Iona Fire District. And what I think is interesting to know about the Iona that a lot of our residents and our staff do not know is we have a very close working relationship with the Iona Fire Department. Everybody's used to seeing them coming and going when they're responding to emergencies with sirens blasting, etc. But what they don't know is that Iona Fire Department in some shape or form is on property usually 2 to 3 times every week. Due to code enforcement, they help us with any kind of construction and building code questions they have. But all our fire safety equipment, all our sprinklers, we have to make sure we have enough water pressure for our sprinkler systems and hydrants. All our alerts, all our fire detectors and alarms, these are constantly inspected by Iona with the help of Iona Fire Department. When we're coming around, and they're the ones that are telling us where we can or cannot use grills, for instance, or where or why we can't have storage in the parking areas. They're our partner in making sure that we're in compliance, but also bringing some safety issues, new safety issues, to our attention. And this is one of the things that we do in exchange is they have a brand new truck. Behind us you'll see it's a 70-foot ladder truck that's brand new to the district, and they wanted to come out just to see what its capabilities are.
Hi, I'm Lori McMahon. I'm the Public Education and Information Resource Officer for Iona-McGregor Fire District. This is our new Sutphin Tower. It's a 70-foot truck that can go 102 feet in the air, and we're really happy to have it on as one of our brand new apparatus. We had a Grumman that was in 1985, and it was far past its expectancy of, we had great mechanics that kept it going for a really long time, but it was time to make sure that we had the proper equipment so we could do the high-rise, evacuations and rescues that we needed. It's about an even replacement. It's a little bit of a smaller truck, and although it has the same ladder and bucket, it has a little bit more bells and whistles on it, but not that many. But it's a smaller, actually the size of the truck is smaller, which allows us to maneuver into tighter places. As you can see, coming through the parking lot, through Shell Point, there's a lot of tight spots to be able to get into, to be able to get to the buildings, and this will allow us to be able to do that a lot better.
The truck you see behind us is our brand new 2012, the Sutphin platform truck, a 70-foot of ladder with a platform on the end, 500-gallon water tank, 1,500-gallon minute pump. It's located at our station on Pine Ridge Road. It's central in the district, able to respond anywhere. It actually would be the second piece of apparatus that would be responding at the Shell Point if there was a call out here, a fire call anyway. Why we're out here today, why we're out here this week doing our training, we're doing 3 consecutive days. The reason why it's done that way is the way we work, the way we get everybody who's not working out here, and why it's so important to make sure everybody's trained on the truck, because you never know what station you're going to be at, what function you're going to be assigned to perform, if it is on the fire ground or on a task. And the opportunity that's afforded to us to come out to Shell Point and to be able to do these kind of training activities, it's invaluable. And why it's so important is you're out here actually training on the actual buildings that you have the potential to respond to. It shows everybody where to park, what you need, things to look at, obstructions and obstacles that are in the way. So it lets you kind of already have an idea in your head, so if the need ever arises to use it, you already have that plan formulated in your head. So coming out to the woodlands, going out to the mid-rises and getting those perspectives, not only setting up but actually visualizing where you are and what you're doing, but to be able to actually drive and actually see where the best places to park are. Utilizing the spots where there would be cars in there, so it's real life. There's really going to be cars here, and I gotta say, you guys are really nice out here, very accommodating, and can't ask for anything more.
It's a great opportunity to be able to have live buildings to come and train at, and for us to have a great relationship with Shell Point and the residents to not mind us coming and being able to train here, and so the guys can get a little preview of what it would be like when they come in here, so they'll be prepared and they'll know exactly what to do, and our response will be much more effective, and we really appreciate the ability to be able to come in and do this.
This gives us a measure of confidence that they can respond. They'll know what the correct piece of equipment to bring and what building they can go to and what stores they can go to. So whenever we can, and we do often cooperate with Iona Fire District in regard to that kind of training. And then this all comes together with actual response during an actual emergency. So again, we're really blessed, and we really feel happy to have this very close working relationship with the Iona Fire District, so they can conduct this very important training.
Terry Colath told us about the importance of concierges in the Larson Pavilion.
Hi, I'm Terry Colath. I am on the 3rd floor of the Larson Pavilion, and I'm speaking with Allison Brown, nurse manager. We're talking about a brand new volunteer program with the Pavilion Auxiliary Thank you for joining me, Allison.
Oh, thanks, Terry. Thanks for having me here today.
It's so nice when we're talking about a new program to first talk about what it is going to mean to our friends and neighbors who live on this third floor. What do you think is going to be special about this program for you and your staff and your residents?
Well, first of all, we find it very exciting that the volunteers are starting this program, the concierge program, on the third floor. It is going to add quality of life to our residents on a daily basis. The volunteers give a gift every single day. They're here caring not only for our residents and families, but for our staff as well. So it's the gift that keeps on giving.
It is, and I can only imagine when the elevator opens and people walk out in a blue jacket with a smile on their face, what that must mean for all of you.
We're ready for them.
You're ready for them.
Come on down. We want our volunteers. We want them here every day.
Well, as we are starting to talk about what this program involves, and of course we're looking for volunteers, I just think it makes people feel good to know from the manager in charge that it really is going to make a difference for her residents. So
it makes a difference, and I think the important thing is, for this unit particularly, it's about building relationships, not only with our residents, families, but with our staff as well.
And
so thank you.
And who could do it better than a fellow resident?
That's right.
That's right. Now I'm with Bobby Brown, former president of the auxiliary here in the Larson Pavilion and current member of the concierge program on this floor. Bobby, tell us a little bit about this place where you're doing the concierge program.
Well, first of all, I would like to say that this is the forever home for many of our friends and neighbors of Shell Point. This is where they live. This is their home.
Thank you for pointing that out to us, Bobby. So as you come into people's homes on a regular basis to spend 2 hours, tell us a little bit about some of the things our volunteers we're recruiting will have the opportunity to do here in this home.
Everything we execute in the way of a task is an opportunity for us to visit, which is wonderful. So if you're transporting residents, every time you're transporting someone, you can get into a conversation. That conversation leads to building a relationship.
And then you're a friend in their home saying, let's go, it's time for the salon, and the relationship grows.
We assist residents with getting settled in their new home. They're downsizing into a small place that becomes their home, and they need help in getting settled. We also help with menus and meals. We do table setting for meals every day. Every day the linens are changed between meals in the dining facilities up here, and we change those linens after every single meal. We go for walks, we offer companionship, we share stories. Oh my goodness, the stories we can share are wonderful.
Now, Bobby, you have served for a good long time in this building, in this blue jacket. What keeps you motivated to keep giving the way you do? I'm curious.
First of all, I love the residents who reside in this building. I truly love them. And it doesn't seem to matter to me where I serve, because they're all important. But I have found a real reward in this floor. I find it to be this family atmosphere that I just dearly love. And the fact that I can build relationships with people over time, that they will look forward to our visits and look forward to the things that we do with them. I cannot tell you how meaningful that is. And that's what has me on this floor. And I plan to stay here.
That says it all. Now with Jerry Nanfeld, the president of our auxiliary, we're going to talk a little bit more about why and how we're starting this brand new opportunity for volunteers.
Thank you for having me, Terry. It's a wonderful new volunteer opportunity that we're offering our residents at Shell Point to join us in on the third floor of the pavilion, and we are so excited about it. It has been developing over the last about 6 weeks. Bobby Brown has been helping me with getting this program started, and so now we're ready to encourage others to come and help us. Every task that we will do on the third floor with our residents that live there will be building relationships and friendships with them. And so that is what the program's going to be all about.
And that'll happen because you'll regularly be with these residents.
Exactly. 2-hour commitment a week will bring us to this floor, and we will get to know everybody because the residents on this floor don't move around as much or move out and in as much, and we get to know them and really build wonderful relationships with them.
How many people can we really take to get this started? We know you and Bobby are starting it. How many more do you need so we can say, okay, we're ready to go?
We would like to have 10 energetic volunteers
like you and Bobby
come forth right now. We and they would make a commitment for 1 day a week for 2 hours. Right now the program will be Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning. And so if they call me right away, Terry, they get to choose their day.
Right. First come, first serve.
Yeah. And so we will fill in those days, and that is what Allison, our nurse manager on the floor, feels is the most important time for us to serve. There's more activity going on, more areas in which we can help at that time. This is not just a program that will benefit the residents. It's a program that benefits the volunteers. And we are so excited and pumped up every week when we serve here for 2 hours. The residents do so much for us. And I just think about it, if you live out there somewhere in one of the courts, and call me and come to help us.
I just want to say that you are doing this and saying this from experience. Starting the first floor concierge program for rehab, the memory care unit concierge program, and moving forward into the 3rd floor. I know that you would not be doing all of this if it didn't fill your heart, and you're offering somebody the same kind of opportunity you have.
Right. And you know, the 1st and 2nd floors have been so successful. We have 25 concierges on each of those floors now, given 20 hours a week to the pavilion and to the residents in the pavilion. And if you add those 2 floors, that's 40 hours a week.
Sure.
It has been such a wonderful addition to this, giving volunteer help in the pavilion. So it is a wonderful thing. Be a part of it. Don't lose out. Come, join us.
Well, I hope that you've listened carefully as Jerry spoke from her heart about the heartbeat of this new program and the opportunity it gives you to do something meaningful with 2 hours of your week. Something meaningful for the residents who live here, something meaningful for you, and something meaningful for this building, which is the skilled nursing facility for all of us.
Ruth Duber prepared a fabulous dessert before our very own eyes, a blueberry pear crisp.
Hi, I'm Ruth Duber, and this is What's Cooking at Shell Point. And I'm going to show you a dessert today. It's called blueberry pear crisps. I'm sure that you could use other fruit other than pear with the blueberries, but the basic part of it is the blueberries. And after you've sprayed your cup, you put some blueberries in the bottom. Use as many as you want. Whoops, that one got away. Like that. Blueberries right now are a little bit expensive, but later in the year they're a little more reasonable. And the pear, for the half a recipe, we will only use 1/2 of a pear. So I will take the core out. Do it that much, and then I'm going to peel it. I know there's always good nutrients in the skin, but sometimes it can be a little tough, so I peel it. All right, now we're going to cut this up in rather small pieces. Now I'm going to put these on the top there. Now we're going to make the topping. And it is very much like a streusel. And so for 1 serving, you use actually 1/2 tablespoon of butter. And this is a little bit softened. And then we're going to take some oatmeal. Now, I've just used the little packet that you use for your breakfast in the morning, and I'm just going to add that to my streusel. It calls for a half a tablespoon. And we'll put that in there. And 1 tablespoon of flour in there. And 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. And about 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I don't think it has to be exact, depending on how much of that you like. So now we're going to take our fork and get this all mixed up and ready for the crunch. So we're going to put this on the top. And you put this in the oven, 375, and for about 30 minutes. And I put it on an extra pan because sometimes it does bubble up. So you want something covered when you put it into your oven. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's all finished. It looks really yummy. You can serve it hot, or you can wait till it cools off a little bit, and maybe even put it on some ice cream. The ice cream that I have, actually, it's Greek frozen yogurt, and this is some pomegranate and blueberry. So I thought that would be good. You could use vanilla ice cream, or you could you can use cream. And here we go, let's spoon some of this. There you are. That's mighty easy. And fellas, I think even you could do this. Surprise your wife. Or if you're alone, you can make some for yourself. That is absolutely delicious. I hope you'll try it. I'll put it up on the website for you. Bye-bye.
Robin Church introduced us to their new massage therapist, Robert Bissett.
Hi, my name is Robin, and I'm the salon and spa manager here at Shell Point. And today we're here with Robert Bissett. He has joined us to do massage therapy in the Island Salon and Spa. Robert is here Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday. He does a fantastic massage. He incorporates some stone therapy into his massage. He's got some nice techniques. We're going to go over some things today that could be really helpful to you.
How does this feel, Robin?
Oh, this feels fantastic.
Where's most of your tension and discomfort at today?
I always get a lot of tension into my neck and my upper back and my shoulders.
Well, as what we're massaging up here in the trap and the shoulder area here, I'm not sure if you know, but massage is not only just about rubbing muscles, it's also about moving blood around. For instance, up in this area right up here, we have a lot of cubby holes, if you will, cubby holes and traps and areas where the blood likes to hang out. Oh, I call it where the old blood hangs out. And what I mean by old blood is not necessarily the age of the blood, where it's the blood where the nutrients are all used up in, and it's just kind of taking up space in all these little cubby holes and all these little trap areas in here. And what I basically do is I kind of like squeeze the old blood out of the little cubbies and trap holes there and get them into the circulatory system so it can rejuvenate itself with fresh blood. And in the same time, as I'm squeezing out that blood, I'm making room for fresh blood with the nutrients to get into all these little areas and feed your aches and pains. Your body's nutrients, your body heals itself. It heals all those little aches and pains.
Tell me a little bit about the sciatic.
Well, your sciatic nerve runs alongside of a muscle that I work on called the piriformis muscle. The piriformis muscle, that's deep, it's below the glute muscles. It's a skinny muscle that's very deep in this area here. And what I do is I kind of just exercise and rub and massage the piriformis muscle, which runs right alongside the sciatic nerve. They run right next to each other. And when this piriformis muscle, through time, you know, our muscles shrink up and they're not so elongated anymore. They kind of shrink and shrivel a little bit. And what happens sometimes with people is the piriformis muscle that is used for lateral hip flexion. That's like spreading your leg out in a pool or whatnot, stretching that piriformis muscle out. It runs alongside the sciatic. If you don't elongate that muscle and stretch it out, when it shrinks up, instead of being like a pencil, it's more like a little snake, and it kind of gives a little turns, and what it does is put slight pressure on the sciatic nerve that runs right alongside of it. It runs right close to the nerve, and it goes through a small hole in your pelvic there. It shrinks up and it puts pressure on that nerve, and that's where you feel the radiation going further down. And I've relieved a lot of pain from a lot of clients. Good posture is very important, and also, you know, just the stretching of those muscles, and that's just good wellness, Robin. That's with you taking care of your body and stretching it out like that, I mean, everything else will follow along suit. That's some of the great benefits of massage. I have some clients that come in maybe once or twice a year, you know, when they're hurting or when they got a situation, and I have to always, you know, fix them when they come in, and sometimes it takes more than 1 or 2 times visits for them to actually feel anything. And I also have some clients that come in weekly, and I call them my proactive clients, where they don't have any issues whatsoever, but they know to come in to be a little more proactive instead of reactive, and they don't have any issues at all, and they're in every week.
That's true, because one massage builds on top of the next one.
Absolutely.
And so on, so it's kind of progressive.
Absolutely, absolutely. The more frequently your visits are, the more results you're going to see. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Thanks for joining us today. I hope that you learned some really valuable information and learned how massage here that we offer in the salon and spa can really help you in your life quest journey. As massage therapy is part of the physical dimension of wellness, it's really beneficial to incorporate that into your lifestyle. Thank you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call. Either myself or Robert or Marianne would be happy to answer any of your questions you have about massage therapy. Thank you, and make it a great day.
See you soon.
We talked to some of the talented and generous people behind Knitters Anonymous.
Hi Shell Point, you are tuned into the Volunteer Corner. I'm Melody Desolé here with 3 very special women. Joining me today is Emily Kletzine from Sundial, Fran Ippenson from Royal Bonnet, and Kate Ruth from Turban. Now Emily, you are the coordinator of a wonderful group we have here at Shell Point. It's a volunteer group. It's a labor of love. It's called Knitters Anonymous. Can you tell me more about the history of the group?
In 1972, a woman who, with her husband, retired to Fort Myers, wanted to start a knitting group, a knitting ministry, and so that they would knit for missionaries and for different groups around the world. So she decided to give $30,000, and all of the beautiful items that you see are knit by volunteers, and the yarn is purchased from the interest that the endowment produces.
That's great. So the name Knitters Anonymous, that only means you're not anonymous with each other. There's a group of about 50 or so women here that volunteer to knit for these charities. You're anonymous to the charities that you send to.
That's correct.
What are the charities?
The charities are 3 wonderful groups. We send first to a crisis pregnancy center, and then they are distributed in that area. The second is a Native American reservation in northern Arizona, and the blankets that you see here go to the elderly for lap blankets. And the third one is World Mission. And for World Mission, we send for refugees, for articles for children, and for families.
So these items tend to go to areas that have cooler temperatures, so not necessarily our backyard in Florida, but the cooler areas of
Arizona, Pennsylvania, and throughout the world missions we don't know where it goes.
Now, how many shipments of boxes, and you can see that box there, it's quite big when you stack these knitted items up. How many shipments do you do per year?
I do 3 or 4, depending on, and right now we're bursting at the seams with so many articles that the girls have knit over the season and even in the summer.
That's great. Now, Fran, you are both a knitter and a crocheter. Now, the name Knitters Anonymous means that it's knitters, but it's also open to crocheters as well. Is that correct?
That's correct. Here's our knitting needles. They come in all sizes. These are the large size, but some of the items are knitted on much smaller needles. And this is an example of a crochet needle. And some of the items that you see here, people like to crochet and people like to knit, but both people are welcome to come and knit things for Knitters Anonymous. As Emily mentioned, there is the interest from an endowment that we use to purchase the yarn, but also people donate yarn, and they also donate needles and crochet hooks that they no longer use.
Now, these items are strictly for the volunteer efforts of Knitters Anonymous.
That's correct. That's correct.
Now, if someone were to be interested in joining the group, where is the yarn and things located?
Okay, behind us here there are cabinets that are designated for the Knitters Anonymous. These particular boxes in here, Emily purchases the yarn and then she designates particular boxes for, these are baby weight yarn, and then you can come in and you can select whatever yarn you want for whatever project you have in mind.
Oh, and there's various colors.
Right, it's designated as baby weight and then different colors. Okay. And then up above there are the needles there are circular needles some people like to use, and then there are regular needles, and there are also crochet hooks that are available. And these are the patterns. We have a number of patterns that have turned out to be very popular.
So now the group doesn't necessarily have to knit together. You can certainly knit on your own time.
That's correct, and probably most people do that. They knit on their own, and then they come in once a month and they bring their items in, and they have an opportunity when they bring them in to see who else is in the group and also have an opportunity to see what projects other people are doing.
We encourage those volunteers to continue knitting if they so desire throughout the summer months.
Yes.
Anyone who desires to turn in something during the summer can certainly do so in my office. Now, Kate, how did you come to know about Knitters Anonymous?
I learned when we moved here, I read the weekly reminder and saw the Knitters Anonymous there, and I thought, well, I'll go over and see what that's all about.
Has your experience been a pleasant one thus far at the group?
Very pleasant. When I got the opportunity, the blessing to move into Shell Point, I decided I wanted to share what time I have to Knitters Anonymous and helping other people.
That's great. Now, what are some of the items that you have contributed to the group?
Well, this one here I just finished.
Oh, that's beautiful. Little baby blanket in the pastel colors.
And then this one is another blanket. I guess this would go out to Arizona.
Wow. So items range in textures, patterns, colors.
And then this sweater here I made. Here's another one that would be great in Arizona, wouldn't it?
So these are heavier material. This is not the baby weight.
No.
This is a heavier, what kind of material or yarn?
Worsted, wasn't it? Worsted wool.
Worsted wool. So that will keep you really warm. Now, these hours that you put into knitting, we keep track of those hours.
Right.
How do we collect those hours at the end?
Well, when they come in on Wednesday, when you bring your item in on Wednesday, you write your name down on a piece of paper and write how many hours you did making it.
Well, as volunteer coordinator, I kept track of a lot of hours of different groups, and you're in the thousands, the group together. So I am astounded at the generosity. I'm astounded at the beautiful textures and patterns and creativity that goes into this group. For volunteers who are interested, who is invited to the group? We already mentioned crocheters and knitters, but what's the skill set?
Really, a person just has the interest to come in and donate their time. On Tuesday afternoons, we have a group of experienced and inexperienced people who get together, and there are always people that can help someone with their project. So even though they're just a beginner, there is help there for them to help them with their project.
For those of you who are interested in joining this great effort of volunteer work, you can do so by contacting me, 454-2290. As a note, since its inception, this group has made over 30,000 knitted items for those who are less fortunate. So let's keep up the good work, let's join this volunteer group, and have a wonderful summer.
Dr. Charles Shepson helped to start a church in Minnesota that recently celebrated its 50th anniversary.
I was born in New Jersey and reared there, and then moved from there to Minneapolis area. My dad was a railroad man. He repaired passenger cars, so we had passes. We could go anywhere in the United States. As far back as I can remember, I wanted to be a pastor. However, my parents separated, and I became the head of the home at about 12 years of age, too young for working papers. However, I did get a job. I worked at a chemical factory in the office. I had a desk there at the offices. So I grew up fast. I went to Nyack College in Nyack, New York, and took the Bible and Theology program in preparation for the ministry. Had a little hard time getting in because I had dropped out of high school in order to support the family, and they finally let me in on probation to see whether I could do college work or not. So I graduated from college. I graduated from high school one day and from college the next day, because I did it by means of the various tests that you can take and get your high school equivalency certificate. My first pastorate, people would come to the door and say, "Is the pastor at home?" And I would say, "I am the pastor." Or they would say, "Is your father in?" So it was a bit of a problem at first. The president of St. Paul Bible College approached me and asked if I would come and replace the man who taught pastoral methods and homiletics there. He had passed away, and they needed somebody urgently. And I, by that time, had my master's degree from New York University, so they had me come, and then I kept on working toward my doctorate right while I was teaching. We had heard about the snow and how heavy it was and all, and how cold the winters were, and those things were true, but not the first year that we were there. We had a very mild winter the first year we were there, which was a delight to us. It was a good way to get acclimated. There was a young couple, his name Martin Paulette, and they were holding Bible studies in their home in a suburb of Minneapolis. And it grew to 15, 18, 20 people, and they decided, that little group, that they'd like to establish a church in that area. And so they wanted someone to come and preach for them, and I agreed to go Sunday mornings and evenings as just to be a part-time type pastor, just the preaching pastor, not there during the week because I was busy at the Bible college during the week. In the morning, we met at the Morris By Elementary School, and then for the evening services, we met at Peace Lutheran Church. We rented the church for the evening services. It was exciting because during the time I was there, it grew to the extent that when we left only because they called their first full-time pastor, and we were already drawing up plans for their first building. So it was just exciting to see rather rapid growth there. One Sunday night, after the evening service, we locked up the church, went out into the parking lot, and were visiting with the remaining people in the rather dark parking lot. I had been packing up the station wagon, and I laid my Bible, my very precious Bible, because it had notes from the years of sermons in it. I laid it on the top of the vehicle while I put some things in, fully intending, of course, to put it inside, and completely forgot it. We climbed in our vehicle and we headed out to the freeway. We traveled 55 miles an hour. There were trucks, semis that passed us and rocked our own vehicle, and there were 2 rough patches of road and round corners, and finally we arrived at our home, and I stepped out, and there was the Bible on top. Hadn't moved an inch, and the open side of it was toward the front. The binding was toward the rear. It was catching all that wind, and it had never moved. And to this day I envision an angel sitting on top of the car with his hand firmly on top of the Bible, keeping it in place until we got home. One of the best things that happened for me was that in that congregation, the Word of Life Church, was a couple by the name of Leon and Arliss Bowman. Arliss Bowman was on the marimba. Leon Bowman led the singing. For such a little church to have such talented musicians was wonderful, and it helped to draw people because they liked a good music program. Before ever going there, my wife and I had sat down together one day and said, you know, we don't have any close friends, really close. We have lots of friends, but no close friends. Wouldn't it be nice if there'd be a couple where he would become my best friend and she would become your best friend? And when there's something that you want, God encourages you to ask for it. And so we did. We put it on our prayer list. Lord, let us find the couple of our dreams. And when we went to that church, Leon and Arliss became for us the ones we had asked for. And now here it is 50 years later, and we are the best of friends. We traveled all through Europe together on a vacation. We've been to the Holy Land together. We went to South America together, and we became such good friends that we even drew up wills in which if anything happened to either couple, the other couple would take the children and rear them. So Leon and Arliss Bowman are now living here at Shell Point from Teledora here now. The Lord very specifically answered that prayer at the Word of Life Church. It kind of came out of the blue. In fact, the congregation had grown to the point where I knew hardly anyone anymore that had been there when I was there. So when his invitation came to come the first weekend of May for their 50th anniversary, I was startled to realize, was that really 50 years ago? I'm delighted with that. That's why we start churches, because we want them to be an ongoing blessing. It makes me feel really good talking about Word of Life. Pleased about that.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in next week for more stories and news from around your community. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of May 10th, 11th, and 12th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. And from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.